If you notice, when I click on the delete button, it doesn't do anything. The backspace on click event function in our HTML is attached to this delete button here. Now we're going to code our backspace function, and the basic functionality will be to delete the last character of a string. For example, we might want to delete the last character in the num1 string when the delete button is clicked. And now head over to main.js. And as usual, declare your function called backspace. And this function will have two local variables, var temp1 and var temp2, which are references to an empty string each. Now let's start off by calling the clear button function if equal to is strictly equal to true and the delete button is clicked. So within an if conditional statement, if equal to is strictly equal to true, then call the clear button function. And this is because if a calculation has been performed and the result is in the display div when the delete button is clicked, the delete button should simply clear away the result instead of deleting the last number in the result string. And let's try this out. And opening index.html in the browser, you see that after I click on the delete button, it clears the display div. Right, let's head over to main.js. Okay, now we've been working with flag a lot as a means to assigning numbers to either var num1 or a num2. Now, if flag is strictly equal to false, that is, the opclick function hasn't been called when the delete button is clicked, we want to delete the last character in the num1 string, which could be any number such as 48. So the delete button should act like a backspace key on the keyboard, and now num1 should only be 4 instead of 48. Okay, let's start with the if conditional statement and structure it. And within brackets, put in your condition, which is flag strictly equal to false. And now let's call the substring method on num1. And the substring method takes 0 as its starting index, num1.length -1 as the index end, which is the position of the last character in the num1 string. And we've assigned this to temp1. So the substring method returns a subset of a string from start and up to the index position that it receives. Now we store the reference to this result in var temp1. And if I alert temp1 and go to the browser, let's click on a few buttons and then click on the delete button. So you see we get alerted temp1, which is a substring from position 0 up till the last character of the string. Right, let's go back to main.js. Now let's update our display div with display.innerHTML is equal to temp1. And now have a look at this in the browser. So notice how I can't delete the last character of num1 if I click on the delete button more than once. So it doesn't work more than once, and head back to main.js. And now let's assign var temp1 to var num1. This will allow us to reset num1 for another cycle of this if conditional statement when no operator button is clicked and we want to delete num1 digits. Right. So let's check this out. And as you can see, everything seems to be working fine. Okay, so what happens when an operator button such as the plus sign is clicked and then you click on the delete button? And as you can see, it does nothing. So back to main.js to work on this. And now set up another if conditional statement. And the condition is that if flag is strictly equal to true, then update the display div to show only num1. And reset flag to the Boolean false, as we've deleted the operator sign from the screen, so we should reset its true-false state as well. So let's have a look at this. And now we can delete num1 string and the operator. But when I try to delete num2, it deletes the entire num2 string, including the operator. And let's fix this and head back to main.js. And now we'll be using the strict inequality operator. So set up an if conditional statement like so. And the condition is if num2 is not strictly equal to an empty string. Now remember, so far we've been using this in the context if something is an empty string, then do this. In this case, we want to reverse conditions. So if num2 is not an empty string, that is, it has one or more characters, then type in the code to execute, which is temp2 is assigned the value of num2 dot substring at position 0 and up to but not including the last character. And like we did earlier, update display dot inner HTML to show num1 plus the operator and num2. And num2 is equal to temp2. Right, let's try this out. And when you delete num2 in this calculation, notice that the update includes the numeric code of the operator button instead of its string equivalent. And it is a bit glitchy, so let's work on this and back to main.js. Now, the main issue here is that display div does not correctly display the operator string after the delete button is clicked. And another issue is that the global var flag must be set to true to indicate the presence of num2 while we delete num2 digits. Okay, so we want flag to always be true when we are working on deleting num2. And now I'm going to copy paste this part here within the existing if conditional statement. And this is something that you've seen earlier. And all that this if else block does is update the display div to show the string equivalent of the numeric code when the delete button is clicked. So let's have a look at this. And as you can see, things seem to be working just fine. So take a break if you need to. If not, let's head over to the set decimal function, which will allow us to set a decimal point in var num1 and num2.